Normally, I'd advise you to take a leap off that ledge, but at the moment, I find myself in need of aid. Don't think you'll get anything out of it, though. I certainly won't teach you anything. An old man who's had his fill of the world. Off in the southeast among the hills, overrun now with those spear-hefting overgrown cats. I'd keep my distance if I were you. It possesses a certain remarkable beauty that is hard to appreciate with a wounded leg. Once in a while, some fool comes to plead on bended knee for lessons. Bah! If you don't know, there's no use telling it. Damned kobolds is what. Poison spear to my leg and it's begun to fester. There are things for it, easy to gather myself. If I could walk. Foul stuff. I never touch it. The natural course of healing's best, if you ask me. I'd be grateful, but don't expect any wisdom or a fine-crafted gift. Hermits have little to give. I'll need spider sack ichor, fenrack from the canyon below, and grist from a Jotun's cookpot. Can you get me those? Before the gnomes opened up that damned mine, wasn't a single one in Menethir. Meddlers, that's what they are. Always think they know best, but they never do. Believe me. About bloody time. Spider gland for the festering, fenrack for the pain, and stewgrist to keep my strength up. You've done me a good turn, stranger. I live a hermit's life, so have little to give. I hope you'll take this as thanks. You'll get nothing else. What a great and austere beauty it holds, a beauty best enjoyed alone. Once in a while, some fool comes to plead on bended knee for lessons. Bah! If you don't know, there's no use telling it. Ah, you have the totem? Good. We've made some enemies, so now we must make the feeling mutual. Kill 3 Jotun chieftains known as the Ragnar's Chosen. Their deaths will enrage the Ragnar like nothing else. After killing each of the Chosen, plant one of these kobold daggers in his chest. That should do the trick. They'll be up among the Jotun on the heights, spreading their Ragnar's word. Remember, after you've killed each, plant a kobold dagger in his chest. That's essential.
Well, well, well. Never seen your face before. Can't say I like it. Listen up, Dogface. There are 2 rules in Bonetown. Number 1, Mayor Eswin's law is absolute. Number 2, if you don't like rule number 1, then you'd better get your ass out of town. Now go meet the mayor yourself. He likes to know what the kobolds kicking from the wastes, especially with the families running wild. Listen to that. You're fitting in pretty well already. I'll see you around Whitestone, Dogface. He's a dangerous man, and he'll stop at nothing to bring ruin to Whitestone. Luckily, the mayor knows how to deal with crooks like Scoria. Miners. And they used to make a good living too, back when Modus Mining had its teeth in Apatia. But when Modus pulled out, the money dried up. Now most of them are criminals. A nasty lot. The Zungars are the worst. But the Darkvari and the Sinrig know Leonis dance as well. There's plenty of them. Just ask Kara, or walk a few paces out of Whitestone in any direction. Sometimes they even come into town. A few weeks ago, I caught a bandit trying to slip into the mayor's window. Fool. He's been locked up in a cage ever since. As an example. Simpestiliana was first sworn. They called her the Desert Runner, and you do well to learn her ways out here. He's not from around here. A city boy born and raised in Myria. Came to seek fortune, but landed in Apatia right when Modus Mining caught their losses. You'd think he'd wither in this desert, but it was his idea to bring in the mercenaries. With Mayor Eswin in Whitestone, we have a fighting chance. People call it Bonetown because of the pale rocks jutting up from the sand. And because of the death rate. Don't kill me, please! Just a little Whitestone humor for you. Maybe it's not for everybody. My name's Varric Dunbert, and my trade's selling. We get a quirky collection of goods in town these days. You're welcome to it. Oh, don't you break into a sweat over the Sinriks and the Zungars. Good people. At least they were back in the days of the cart and shovel. Now they make their living with the sword. Can't say I blame them. Not after what the gnomes did to us. Honestly? Well, I'm not sure what to make of that one. He's certainly got clean hands for someone in Apatir. Rumor has it he's city-bred. Have you seen his cottage? It is more rooms than a flophouse. Some say they're not criminals, despite the mayor's proclamations. I'll refrain from judging. You're right, I see pretty much everything and everyone that comes in and out of Whitestone. And we do get our share of eccentric visitors. Just the other day I noticed a real sorrowful-looking Alfar lurking around the tavern. I don't mind them. In fact, think Mitharu, that sun camp, is just down the road. Without their merchants, the people of Whitestone would starve to death. We don't get many supplies from the city, and there's no work to be done in trade. Honest thieves, one man's opinion.
Welcome to the Thirsty Wench. I'm Bera Grastar, owner, innkeep, and namesake. We don't get many strangers in Whitestone, at least not since motors pulled out and the mercenaries dug in. What can I get you? Not everyone in Apatir worked for one of the big mining families, but most of them did. And when the work dried up, they stayed with their crews. Only now they're robbing travelers and kidnapping merchants instead of digging. Only thing we dig in Whitestone these days are graves. He's fine as far as nobles go, although he doesn't exactly fit in around here. He lacks that important layer of filth that comes from growing up in Apatir. Barely worth my breath, those bastards. Tell me, is it right to build a town and then suddenly leave it to rats? I don't think so either. The gnomes of Motus Mining have the people's hopes to answer for. They know better than to ever show their faces in Apatir again. Same old faces, same old troubles. Whitestone hasn't changed much since the gnomes left us to the wastes. The mercenaries are new and good for business. We do have a few visitors, Alpha and a traveller to boot. I'd better watch out or the thirsty wench is going to get all respectable. Yeah, they come into town every so often, looking to socialize, I guess. Best keep your eyes on your belongings. There's a whole camp of them east of here near the cliffs. I think they call it Sun Camp. That was a joke. Sure, we've got a few available, but they'll cost you. Nothing comes cheap in Whitestone. It's your choice. Not many places to sleep in Whitestone where the rats won't get at you. You mean Steg? He's a good kid. Dumb as a plank, but sweet as they come. I really hope he gets out soon so he and Rindy can be together. Don't tell anyone, but I've run out of meat to serve the customers. If these louts find out, they're liable to start a riot. Do you have any meat with you? I'll pay you good money for it. Okay, I guess that's better than nothing. I don't care where you get it, as long as it smells like meat when I place it over the fire.
Are they giving you a hard time around here, too? Whitestone, a boot full of vipers, this place. Can't stand it. And after everything we've done for them down in Sun Camp, you'd think they'd be more appreciative. And starvation's too good for the mayor, I say. It wasn't my life plan to become a traveller, believe me. But sometimes necessity is the only star you follow. My parents were miners and worked themselves to the bone to provide. When the Terrenium dried up, so did they, you could say. I didn't want to leave Apatir, so I stayed. He's as corrupt as they come, but I shouldn't be one to speak, not with my associations. Still, it's one thing to say you're a crook, and another to pretend you're not. Some of us join because we have to. Others expect it to be an adventure. We're a patchwork, really, a glorious patchwork of imperfection. It's a good town, or it was before the Motus disaster and the mercenaries. I have fond memories of Whitestone. I used to buy candy at Varick's place. Simpler times. You don't look like one of Eswin's ruffians. No, you look different, which is a good thing in this sun-blasted nothing. All right, I'll tell you. Our friend the mayor has something stashed up in his house, something worth a fortune. Can you believe that? There's something of actual value in Whitestone. I've been sent to get it, but I can't seem to find a way in. Until inspiration strikes, I'm waiting here, keeping the ale busy. We're travellers by affiliation, but we specialise in fair exchange of goods and services. Not to say we won't steal, it's just not our stock and trade. You'll find us east of here, past the old Motors Mining Headquarters building, just shy of the seaside cliffs. You should stop by, it's quite a view. Silly question. Who doesn't hate the mayor? We travellers had a good thing going here in Whitestone. The people came to us for their needs. We had a relationship. Now Mayor Eswin says trading with travellers is illegal, and as a result the folks of Apatir won't touch us. I'm surprised they even let me into town without a fight. You're welcome to give it a go, but I can't promise you'll get anywhere. That old mansion was built by the gnomes back when they first settled the village. It's got more hidden corners than a spider web. I doubt old Eswin's even seen all of it. I doubt the old mayor has either. Maybe I'll show some initiative eventually. Until then, you're welcome to make us both look good. The doors are locked, so I'm guessing there are keys required. That's usually how the arrangement works.
What is it? Can't you see I'm celebrating? That's right. Raise a glass, friend. Let's make a toast to cowards. I walk the wall of Melsenshire. Do you know what that's like? The silence breathes. The shadows move. Every night is a lifetime. No drink can drown those memories. What's there to say? The Tuatha just keep growing bolder, and our numbers fewer. Not like the people of Apatir care. They've got their own problems. This village is as good as any. I've seen many such places, all of them ravaged by the war, all of them feeling the distant decay of the Tuatha. There is no escape. I've made a choice, you see. After much deliberation and many pines, I've decided to disobey my direct superiors and not perform my duties. To the fires with orders. I am finished delivering death notices. I've seen the faces of the war dead. I've no desire to look into the eyes of their loved ones. I volunteered to be a messenger, to bring death notices from the War Council to the families of the deceased. I thought it would be welcome respite from the war, but it's been its own kind of hell. I got through some of them, but by the time I reached Apatir, I was done. You would do that? It would keep me from getting discharged. For I'm not going back. Here are the death notices. Take this medicine as well. I have my own right here. Ironic, isn't it? I can face the enemy, but I can't face the families of those who fought beside me. Pathetic. Your energy will not be spent in vain. I will pay you well to do this for me, but the road will be long and fraught with grief. Tell them what you want. Won't change what has happened. Their sons and daughters are gone. No one can soften that blow.
Good day. You're probably wondering what I'm doing here. Well, if you're fond of a good story, lend me your ear. I won't disappoint. I'll try to keep it short, even though I've got all the time in the world for embellishment. Sinriks, Dark Vari, Zongars, and Scorias, all bastards. Not half as bad as these guards. They can't catch all of us, and we can't kill all of them. I am no one of consequence, something the guards in Whitestone failed to realize. However, if you ask my father, he'd take my side. I'm a complete disappointment. Look, I'm in a cage in the middle of this town. What do you want me to say? I'm not really in a good position to talk about it right now. What did I do? Nothing. I just happened to bear the name Darkvari, a crime and upper tier in these trying times. The mayor's blade seized me at the gates of Odessa. Here's the trick of it. I was leaving home, slipping free of my familial bondage. I'm no thug. I am guilty of but one crime only: stealing a girl's heart. Her name is Hrindi Zungar, and at this very moment she waits for me with no word of my whereabouts. Please, stranger, will you help me? She is the sun that comes to warm me every morning. We met a short time ago, mere weeks, but true love has no memory of time. Yes, Zungars and Darkvari aren't exactly kin. In fact, they're sworn enemies and rivals. Imagine how powerful they'd be if they shared blood instead of spilled it. I knew I liked you from the moment I laid eyes on you through these enormous iron bars. Getting the key won't be easy. Bjorn, the head of their mercenaries, carries it on his person. I wouldn't want to be the one who has to rifle through his pockets. I care not for stale poison. I doubt the Zungars and Darkvari even know why they're angry. It's an old hatred, old as the Red Stone. Hrindi and I want none of it. I've promised to rescue Hrindi from her family's life of corruption. She deserves more than a shack along the snake tail. She deserves Sky Blossom, whispers. I've been in this cage for weeks, but Hrindi will wait. We swore an oath to each other. Bjorn's men are ridiculously loyal. Try to catch him alone, out of the friendly eye. If you don't, our little agreement will end up rather short-lived.
Stand right there. Let me take a look at you. Filthy, weary, lonely, but special, that's for certain. We don't see folks like you in Whitestone very often. I'm Mayor Eswin Elfhelm, and I'm the closest thing to a friend you've got around here. An obstacle in the way of progress. The old man still believes that Apotia could come back from its decline by force of will. Typical of a miner. Keeps digging away. There are 4 mining families. The Darkvari, the Sinriks, Zungars, and the Scorias. When the gnomes departed, so did the jobs. There was nothing for the miners left behind. Starvation, desperation, well, they change people. Most of the miners in Apotia kept their sanity, even when they lost everything else. But the others, they turned to banditry. The usual: theft, kidnapping, murder. You'd best stick close to Whitestone. You're an easy target. The Sinrik boys think this is a game. They're laughing now, but we'll see how they like the taste of their own ruthlessness. They're the second oldest family in Apotia, and they're headed for a prison, or the graveyard. The Darkvari were hit hardest by Modus's relocation. The young men and women watched the elders and children waste away. Now they're all that's left. Sad story, isn't it? Doesn't excuse their lawlessness. Once the Terrenium ran out, they moved on. Gnomes don't care for the welfare of other races. They're hoping we'll kill each other off, save them the trouble. It would take quite a bit to convince me the Zungars weren't criminals from the start. It's probably no surprise the worst miners of Apotia make the best brigands. This little town was the heart of the boom, the engine that drove the rise of Odessa. But in business, every boom is followed by the eventual bust. The gnomes moved out. With the gnomes went the gold, and with the gold went the jobs. Whitestone has been a shell of itself since. But I seek to change all that. Liars, thieves, and scum. Let's hope they never take control of Apotia. Terrenium. It's the only reason the gnomes ever graced it here with their presence. Normally they'd find the climate too dry. They like their beards curly. Motus Mining settled Whitestone, built all the mines and relocated the families. Once they'd taken what they came for, they vanished almost overnight. Disgraceful. My given name is Eswin Elfhelm, but people around here call me Mayor Eswin. They're simple people. That's why I like them. I grew up in the Almain city of Myria, west of here. I'd never worked a full day in my life. I'm certainly making up for it now. I sleep 1-2 hours a night. My home. A lifetime ago, it seems. The port was nice. The smell of fish near the harbor was offensive. You'd have a hard time finding anything that resembles Myria here in Detir. Some call it war. I call it survival. The Motus mining interest left an empty throne when it abandoned Apotir, and now everyone wants that power. The people here, the decent, honest, hard-working people of Apotir, have been through enough. Starvation, humiliation. They needed a leader, one who cares. My goals are simple. To stop the warring in Whitestone, and to rescue it from the brink of extinction. And you can help me. What do you say? Partners? I like you. You're not a fool. Want to know what you're getting into? Well, I think big, but I'm smart enough to start small. I need a person who can do both. I want you to acquire something for me. Something that rightfully belongs to me. There's a man named Adolf Scoria, patriarch of the most prominent mining family in Apotir. Months ago, I bought his family mine. It wasn't cheap. Now Adolf refuses to surrender the property. In fact, he's gone into hiding and won't meet with me. I need you to acquire what is legally mine. The deed to his claim. Motus Mining stored all the records in its old headquarters east of the village. But the building has long since been overrun. Get that deed, and we're in business. Probably in that relic of a building that was once Motus headquarters. Now a haven for thugs and criminals. Near the cemetery to the east.
This is Ironfast, Warsworn. Here, you will find dust on our helms and scores on our blades. We believe in action above finery and show. If you seek work, supplies, or shelter, they are yours. It is a hard, harsh country, well suited to the life of the Warsworn. This is the Detir bastion of the Warsworn, and I am its castellan. We have a blacksmith and quartermaster. Both are in the south wing, that way. The Warsworn have been many things. The tale is told on the walls and the tomes in this very keep. What we have always been are bold, unflinching fighters. You need not be Warsworn to take contracts. The board is in the south wing. Ask Adrith about it if you like.
Hello, Pledge Shield. Welcome to Ironfast. I'm new to the Warsworn, but they say I have Lyanna's spirit. She was the first Sempester. A champion of sorts, I think. It's a far-off concern to us in Ironfast. The Tuatha must be stopped. The only question is how much is needed to stop them. I'll fight if it comes to that. This may be the hardest post outside of Melsenshire. I can't remember the last time we glimpsed the outside world. Might as well be in prison. No! What? You bastard! That rotten, useless idiot! How could he do this to me? He said he'd come back! Please, you must be mistaken. Please, tell me it's someone else. That fool. Go away, please. Don't you ask about him! How dare you, you insensitive coward! Leave me be!
Now who's this? I've grown so used to the same few drifters coming in for supplies and the contract board. A fresh face is a welcome thing. I'm the curate of this keep. If you've a contract to turn in, bring it to me. The quartermaster to our keep, she stocks all we need to get by out here. We're proud to stand where we do, here among the wilds. First keep and last bastion, the Castellan likes to say. That's Oda. She's a good sort, though not a woman of words. Anything you need's found in the smithy. You've got Heki for most things and Gavroche for blacksmithing. Other keeps get their work here and there, high and low. As for us, ever since Odessa was built, we've had one solemn task. Watch the Jotun. Hold them back, hold them south and west of Gnomish lands. I'll be honest, he's not much of a blacksmith, but he's all we've got at the moment. Poor little lad. It's right beside me. The work's open to any and all. When a contract's done, they come to me for their pay. When there are open jobs, and there's good proof they've been done, then yes, I do.
My poor old master had but one dying wish, that his prize blade, the one on the wall, be mended. Some days I dream that I'll do it myself. Then I remember, I'm a poor untrained apprentice who can barely forge a soup spoon. Master Braskin took me in, being an orphan and found by the war swan and all. He let me live here, began to train me in the craft. Well, don't expect anything remarkable or even decent. Show me what's broken, and I'll see what I can do. Which isn't much. Dinwell's his name. Word has it he grew bitter of all mortal kind at the start of the war. But I wouldn't know. I've never talked to him. Master Braskin, yes. I'd endure every drunken lashing anew if it meant I could learn blacksmithing right and proper. Been good to me since the day they found me, tucked in among stolen sacks of grain. Why, that's Haldabeer's blade. It's famous, from the Fey Wars. My old master always said he'd fix it right again. Might have, if he'd lived. Now it just hangs on the wall, taunting me, reminding me of all I'm not. In battle, oh, it's a wondrous tale of how Haldabeer slew his foe. I'd tell, but I don't think I could do it justice. Repair the sword? Not likely. There's one man living who can, and he'd rather eat nettles and stare at the sky than raise hammer to anvil. You can find the Hermit Smith yourself, up in the Menethir Heights. But don't expect much. A hero's sword. Like its owner, it fought and died in glory on the battlefield. Just as I'll die miserably behind this forge. Really? You have? Don't think you could talk him into mending that blade on the wall, do you? If he would mend that blade, I'd be delirious. Were he to stay here and finish my training, but I don't dare to dream so much at once.
Me, I'm rarely outside. Always things to be done about the keep. Oh, you want that contract, do you? Now you guard these ghastly things closely. Mind you, they're not suited for combat. They're for surgery and unnaturally sharp. Oh yes, well you'll need to collect the required number of spider stingers from spiders in Menethir. You won't have much trouble finding them, they're all over, which frankly is exactly the problem.
Good day, Warsworn. Would a Sagecrafter's services be of interest? A great city, if ever there was one. A monument to science and industry. I've been here enough to see he's not long for Ironfast. The Warsworn are too kind to say so, even to strangers, but a keep needs a proper blacksmith. Warsworn let me stop here in my wanderings in exchange for my service. Good folk, if a bit rough-hewn, and no place feels safer. Odessa raised, Basilica Nostra trained, and worldly wise, fully versed in the ways of gems and sockets. I've got my certificate here with my things. I might have stayed and taught, but my spirit's more the wandering sort. So much art and science to the fitting of a gem. Harmonies, geometries, fine acts of dexterity.
I'm quartermaster here. Tell me what you need and I'll see what I can do. The old blacksmith died 3 moons ago. Gavroche is... that boy's barely trained. What do you expect? It's a hard, dangerous place. Jotun above, spiders, thieves, and kobolds down below. They've always lived in the heights of Menethir, and we have always watched them, weapons at the ready, and held them back when we must. They're the newcomers to this land. They crawled up through the ground from who knows what deep caverns. That's me. I'll sell you what you need, and if you need a blacksmith, well, what we've got for one's over there. If there's fight in your veins and steel in your bones, you're war-sworn. If you die before you break an oath, you're war-sworn.
They rush about as if their destinies did not stretch out before them, clear and immutable. Poor fools. It is said my attunement to fate is especially keen. I can see the paths of everyone I cross, stretching before them, but not yours. I have come here, for it is here I was to come. How could I do otherwise? I see fate's ends too clearly to resist. Some are trained in weaving fate. It is a knack that revealed itself to me at an early age. My parents were delighted at first, then horrified, as I had foreseen.
What have you got for old Fargil the healer today? A nice spider bite? A punctured lung, perhaps? I trained under the luminaries of Odessa, but I have always found fascination in a live specimen of the medical arts. Have you ever been? It's some leagues to the east. A marvelous city. One of, well, mental giants, if you will. You couldn't find a better corner of Amalur to practice the art. More poisonous and dangerous things out there than you could imagine. Though I will admit, Cluricon may have us beat for disease. It's wonderful here. They come to me with the most remarkable ailments. How I would love to visit. The diseases they have there. Perhaps one day it will be safe enough to go. Beautiful creatures. They're nature's alchemists. Make poisons, silk, miasmas, you name it.
Hello there. Normally I'd be seeking help with some of our mercenary contracts, but it looks like you've collected all of them already. I'll leave you to your work then. Not a weakling in the bunch. Every one of them with a thirst for combat. They'd kill you for a single coin. In a way, it's almost impressive. The Zungars are the worst, but the Darkvari and Sinriks aren't much better. Don't worry about the Scorias. They're everywhere, but harmless, like roaches. The Bone Wall is where we post bounties and contracts. I'm sure you can guess how it got its name. The Sinriks are handsome boys, despite their ways. They always give me a smile from afar, too scared to get close. The Darkvari are a miserable lot, but don't let the rags and rusty daggers fool you. What they lack in skill, they make up for in brute force. Ah, so you've been talking to Bjorn, have you? I'm not that interested in the War-Sworn stories. I much prefer the pay. You'll have to talk to Mayor Eswin about the Scorias. He asked us to focus on the other families first. I don't know much about it. Mayor Eswin brought me and Bjorn down first, out of Ironfast Keep. The pay is weak, but so is the enemy. If I were you, I'd stay in town, avoid the wastes. The desert is crawling with kobolds, and just about every human you find out there is going to want a piece of you. The Zungars killed the first group of mercenaries that Eswin hired. Raided Whitestone the very next day. We've held them off for a while now, but they're tough, even for War-Sworn.
A stranger, not a labourer by your main. An adventurer. Deserter, maybe. Gaze does not suggest you've seen war. What is needed? This city is built around a single priority. The preservation of knowledge. That, above all else, must be upheld. My time with Mortis mining left me the wiser in terms of potion craft. Most of my spare time is spent experimenting with new reagent combinations. Can't say I blame them for seeking richer veins. It's rather disappointing that they don't deem it necessary to maintain my offices, however. I dare not taste many of these potions on myself. You're welcome to buy some off me if you wish.
What is it? Can't you see I'm busy? If you're from the village, you can tell Mayor Eswin that I'm not interested in any other deals he may wish to offer. This discovery belongs to everyone, and it will not be used to further one man's agenda. I will carry the shame of what happened here to my grave, but I will speak no more of it. My every breath is given to rectifying the mistakes that were made. It is not the only mining concern in Edessa, but it is the only one that matters. Our efficiency is legendary, as is our disregard for human life. I was a scholar from Otis mining interests, one of 6. 4 of the others died from exposure to poisonous fumes. And the last, he took his own life in the snaketail, filled his pockets with terinium and sunk like a stone. Now it's just Guyan and me, working as we did ages ago in training. It's not a bad life, although the rat meat leaves one wanting. My closest confidant, one who enjoys investigating the world's darker mysteries. He's downstairs. I let him start a laboratory there after they ejected him from Edessa. You mean you're not with that fool Alfhelm? Well, if that be true, then this meeting could be an opportunity for both of us. Tell me, have you ever heard of Culminite? Of course you haven't, because, you see, I discovered it. It is a new ore, one that has the potential to be the most valuable resource ever discovered in this region. Think of what would happen if I could prove it was plentiful here. Motus would reopen the mines, jobs would return to Whitestone. Apatir would live again! I am a man of science. The little progress I ever make is done here, at the workbench. I need someone swift and resourceful to walk the world for me. Scour Apatir. Search the deepest mines in every abandoned dig. I am confident there are Culminite deposits to be found. I have faith in you, friend. My research suggests that the veins run beneath all of Apatir, so I would search the mines. Of course, you're the one who would confirm whether my research is accurate.
You're not supposed to be sniffing around over here. Go on, get! The gnomes carved the place to pieces, and then picked up and left before the dust hit the ground. They took everything, left nothing. Working down here in Apatir is the best job I've ever had. All I've got to do is stand in this spot dawn to dusk and make sure the riffraff don't enter. A boggart could do it. I've seen many villages beyond hope, but none so far gone as Whitestone. It would be better left to the dust. We've got your usual drunks, thieves and killers. Most of them are from Whitestone, but a few hail from the outlying mines. Too bad you're not permitted inside. You might pick up a useful skill or two. Anything to survive in Apatir.
Hi there. I've been following your progress. From a safe distance, of course. Can I have the document now? What will I give you? You're thinking like a traveller after all. Very good. Isn't that the way of Whitestone? Everyone has to get paid. So what do you want? It's not your concern. Acquiring it was the important thing. Now that it's safe, it needs to be given to the proper parties so it can be destroyed. You're just going to hand over that piece of paper for free? You wouldn't last a day in the Travellers, my friend. But I guess that's for the best. Here, you have to take something for your trouble. Go on, have some of my stuff. I can always get more. Or steal it.
No lessons, no precious pearls of wisdom. I've left that all behind. You have my thanks. Now go. Oh, what for? Can't imagine what old Braskin can't handle on his own. I still know him. I came to Menethir because of him, the only man in all Amalur I respect. What? He's dead? Then he never mended that sword, and that green apprentice is left alone half-trained. Damn it all! I swore I'd never... But the blade and the apprentice... Apprentice and the blade... It won't do. I must go. Bring me a compound known as Master's Tallow from Hervar's Dorsil, and the sword is yours. I'll be at Ironfast waiting. A rare wax of golden hue, with some remarkable properties regarding metal and flame. It will be needed to mend that sword. He would visit me some nights, and we'd talk of stars and old ways and the blacksmith's craft. He alone never once asked me why I live apart. Hervar's Dorsil by name, just north of the river. A madwoman lived there some years ago. She had perfected the art of making Master's Tallow. She's gone, but I think you'll find some tallows remained. And here, you see, it all falls beautifully into place. The kobolds will come for their totem. And this new Ragnar will see a challenge that he cannot ignore, and a battle he'll think he can win. Of course, neither he nor any will survive it. To reclaim it, the kobolds will fight to the death. To a Jotun, it's no more than a banner. But a banner planted in their ground is a challenge, and Jotun are proud creatures. Well, there may be a victor for a moment or two, but in the end, I will be the only winner, you will see. All have lost, but we have won thanks to my genius and your hard work. You have earned your reward. Have this. As for me, I have earned a trip to Odessa, and surely Centurion rank. If you haven't already, you should visit our grand city. It's a sight to behold. Soon to be a memory. It's back to Odessa for me and my fine auxiliaries here. I've single-handedly squashed a Jotun warpath. Of course, that single hand was you, but why quibble? They'll have to grant me Centurion rank now.
Yes, we're a bit of an island to ourselves out here. Dead? Why, that's a shame. I'd say I'm sure he'll be missed. But he's from Whitestone, so you never know. And that's his walking staff there. I'll take that. Job well done.
You have the Master's Tallow? Then let's begin. Lords of Iron and Fire, it's good to be back at the forge. Brace yourselves now. Behold, Haldabir's blade, strong and whole. As you made this possible, I insist that you take it. A hero deserves a hero's sword. Now, if you're done gawking, I have a clumsy oaf of an apprentice to train. I swore I'd never take another student, but for you and Gavroche here, I'd make an exception. The boy's green as a new blade of grass, but he's got an eye and an arm. He'll learn yet. My work here won't keep me from it. I shall never tire of its open sky or those great red rocks.
He's gruffer than Master Braskin. But he hasn't struck me yet. Just imagine. Me, apprenticed to the hermit smith. I swear there's nothing he doesn't know. Things he does with a flick of the wrist turn me into a bellowing troll.
Yes, what is it? We're not supposed to speak with the citizens. What's there to say? It's an unfortunate affair. I don't foresee anyone coming out the better for it. I only hope that many return from the front lines unharmed. Nothing to tell, really. My wife and I lived in Rathir, until we had to take work elsewhere. She in the army and me with this rough outfit. I hate being apart. Same as any place else, in my opinion. I just stick to the job. Guard, train, and rough up anyone who gets in the way of the mayor's plans. Joanne? You mean my wife has died? I knew she sailed for Cluricon, but we got so little news here in Apatir. I told her the war wouldn't last. I insisted. And as usual, I was wrong. My wife was beautiful. She deserved better. I only wish I could have given it to her. I only wish I could have been there for her in the end. Thank you for telling me. Joanne never wanted children. She said it was too harsh a world for young ones. Said we should use our lives to make a difference. I have to believe she was right. The army rejected me on account of my missing toes. So I came here to make extra coin while Joanne was away. To wait for her. Now it seems I'll wait forever.
What is it? I don't like folks standing around in the center of town. It looks suspicious. You like the what? Hold on a moment. Repeat what you just said so I can laugh appropriately. You like the cage key. Oh, that is truly humorous. You think so too, eh? The mayor had me do that, to set an example and keep the families in line. Steg's a good kid. A foolhardy romantic, but good. Listen, if you can get him out of here without being seen, I'll turn my back and pretend this conversation never happened. You got me?
Well done. Now, you've done me this one favor. Let's finish what we've started. Before I can leave this cursed desert, I need several things. First, I need to fetch the item that will finance our new life in Odessa, our nest egg. It is an heirloom that has been in the Darkvari family for generations. Then I need you to find Hrindi and bring her to me at our old meeting place in Snaketail Canyon. Please, you must do this for me. For us. Thank you.
Well done. I was worried the Zangar boys might give you a bit of trouble. I was right about you. I have an eye for promise, you know. Prospecting, as the locals would call it. I've noticed your weapons. I assume you know how to use them? It's a pity, but the only way to clean up Whitestone will be to get them dirty. We've received news that Adath Scoria might be hiding out with the Sinric family in their old Terrenium quarry. Get down there and take a look. See what you can see. It's the processing facility for all ore leaving Apotir. The gnomes built it soon after they completed their headquarters. The Sinric family has run it ever since. The quarry is very near, and the canyon to the south. It's the most important facility in Apotir. Not a piece of ore can be refined without it. It's a pity the Sinric family won't let anyone inside.
Things in Whitestone are looking up. We're getting a handle on these outlaws. Believe me. It's sad. I think Sinric once had a heart for me, until I lopped off 2 of his fingers. You did the right thing. Here's your pay. Not bad. The Darkvari aren't icy killers like the Zungar, but they can handle their own, as can you. Here's your pay. Impressive. You know how to get the job done. We could use more like you. Of course, with the Zungars gone, our fight may soon be over. Here's your pay.
Who are you? What are you doing all the way down here? You'd think the Sinrics would be enough to keep anyone away. We have no leaders here. We are a family. I speak for the miners of Scoria only because I'm tired of the treatment and I care not if I live or die. To the fires with the Darkvari, the Sinrics, and the Zungars. They chose their paths, as we did Scoria's. There is still such a thing as pride, as dignity. I was born and raised in these shafts and tunnels. The gnomes gave my people hope, only to turn their backs on us in our time of greatest need. Yes, I know what you're thinking. What am I doing here? You should try living in a village where the mayor wants you dead. The miners of Apotir know Sinric Quarry well. It's a second home to most of us, where we once extracted Tyrenium and exported it to Odessa. While I don't agree with what the Sinrics are doing to survive, I do respect their refusal to back down. What has that snake told you? That I sold him Scoria mine? I would never do such a thing. Just because he lives in the mayor's house doesn't mean he's a man of honor. Came here 6 months ago saying he was going to revitalize Whitestone. Ever since, my people have been captured or killed by his marauding hired swords. I remember when my uncles brought me to see it for the first time. Not long after the gnomes hired Papa Kester to be the first of our foremen. I found it beautiful. We have mined it for decades. No new mayor is going to take from us what has been earned through sweat and heartache. Before the recent ordeal, Whitestone was more than a village. It was a community. We cared for one another. We worked through our challenges together. An agent of that snake Eswin, no doubt. You're not the first one he sent to scare me from my mine. I'll tell you what I've told the rest. That claim is Scoria property. You can kill me, but it won't matter. Politicians come and go. They follow the money. But a man protecting his land will never leave it. You tell him that. If you wish to do the right thing, and there is a right thing, meet me later. I'll be staying with allies in Whitestone. It's the last place Eswin would look. Together you and I can save Apotyr.
Well, you wouldn't return unless you had something to tell me, am I right? Oh, Ideth laid it out for you, did he? Should have expected that. Well, let me put it this way. The days of the family mines are over. A new order has come to Apotyr. The Darkvari, Sinriks, and the Zungars. I will deal with them in time. But the Scorias, they are different. They have the people's respect, and that is powerful. Listen to me carefully. If you walk away from this, from me, you will no longer be welcome in Whitestone. So tell me, friend, are we still partners? Do you have any choice? You just wait. Without me, without Whitestone, Apotyr will continue to dry up like the husk it's become. But we can stop it. We organize all the claims under single ownership, mine, and work with the gnomes to get the ore flowing again. Prosperity will return, and with it, the people. This is a decision you will regret. You have my word on that.